For the upcoming right-hander, brake 30 meters later and ease off the pressure.
Hello everybody, welcome to another round of the Trophi.Ai Radical SR8 Championship. It is round 8, just 2 weeks from now we'll be crowning our champion in another season of this league. And at the moment it's holding up as to who that is going to be. It's myself, Ewan, and Dean Biggles with you for another round of the championship. As always, a 15-minute race to come in a few moments' time after qualifying is done in 2 minutes, and a 25-minute second race as well, with the top 10 reversed. We're very much looking forward to bringing you to another circuit. I think last week everyone warmed to Rudskogen a little bit, but much like what we saw last week, not many people enjoying the Snetterton racetrack in preparation for this event. John McCutcheon's got to make do with it. He's got the championship lead. He's 38 points ahead of Luke Maxwell and Mikey Pollard, who are tied for second. Just 3 points further behind is Jamie Bird, with Mike Booson tied with Paul LeMay for fifth. Ewan Bramer is next to Declan Marsden, who's the first driver in the AM standings, as far as I'm aware, tied with Menno de Graaf. David Ralston's only 5 points back, with Stefan Mellers just outside of the top 10. Damien G and Josh Reed are tied in 12th, ahead of Paul Crabb and Michael LeMay. Then you get Peter Zoldos and Scott Kostrich before you get to the drivers who haven't been at very many rounds so far. Pat Seaborn, for example, still in Singapore, so he might be back for the final round of the season. Gert-Jan Polman is here, though. He's in 19th place. And I think that's it as far as those who are here today are going in the championship. Good to be alongside you, Biggles, for another round of the championship. Snetterton this time around. As I mentioned before, everyone was very downbeat about Rudskogen, but it actually turned out to be a very good race. A very good 2 races, rather. I wonder whether we're going to see the same here, because prior to this race in the Discord, people have been groaning a little bit about having to drive this circuit for a combined 40 minutes tonight.
Oh, that's quite strange. I don't mind the circuit. It provides quite a bit of entertainment. Welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in, wherever you are in the world. Well, if there's no Australians on the field, because you know why? They're too busy winning Formula 1 races. Spoiler alert. I just have to bring that one out there, Ewan, because go Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. We're rocking it, mate.
Is that a big thing in Australia? Do a lot of people talk about that?
Yeah, it's on the news, my friend. Yeah, you won't see a news program without the sports, and the highlight being, of course, old Oscar taking another victory, my friend, as qualifying. Don't we even get our hot lap with you, Ewan? Oh well.
We've got time in the race, with plenty of time throughout the broadcast, I'm sure, to have a look on board at this circuit. Very flat circuit over in the east of England. It is Luke Maxwell who's taken the pole position alongside Paul LeMay. I don't think John McCutcheon's quite as comfortable around here as he has been at some of the others in the past. He's third ahead of Mike Booson, with Paul Crabb and Mikey Pollard on row 3. Declan Marsden and Menno de Graaf are on the AM pole front row, if you like. Jamie Bird and Josh Reed have found themselves behind those two, though. Stefan Mellers just outside the top 10, alongside Gert-Jan Polman in 12th. Then it is Michael LeMay and Peter Zoldos with Scott Kostrich and David Rolliston, who didn't set a time for some reason at the back end of the field. He will get underway from last position. Just John McCutcheon and Mike Booson set to get themselves onto the grid and ready to go. I think you were commenting just before, Biggles, McCutcheon on over a 7,000 R rating these days. You get racking up the numbers these days, isn't he?
That's impressive, isn't it? Absolutely. But you've got to convert the R rating into a race win. As you can see, the field all stacked up. Looks overcast. The weather conditions are portraying, well, typical weather, isn't it, over there in your neck of the woods? But I don't see any hint of rain, Ewan.
I was going to say, it's been raining where I am today. Pretty grizzly, but no rain in this series, of course. Just overcast here in the east of England, as it so often is at any time of the year. McCutcheon and Booson get themselves onto the grid then, and soon the lights will come on. 16 drivers ready to go here for round 8 of the championship. 2 races here at Snetterton. This is the first with Luke Maxwell on pole, getting up to a good start as well. That's LeMay going backwards immediately here. McCutcheon and Boosson slip past him straight away. Oh, and he's going backwards immediately. Look at this, Pollard and Crab go through as well. Pollard around the outside for 4th place. Then it comes Crab. Then LeMay, who's actually got Declan Marston alongside now. Paul LeMay went nowhere on that start, and now he's having to defend from the AM leaders. Marston can't get past. Menno de Graaf's next in line. The leaders in the AM class stay in line. In fact, Josh Reed is coming through on Menno de Graaf. Not a good start from de Graaf as Josh Reed goes round the outside of him. But it's an even worse start for Paul LeMay, who's down to 6th position after qualifying on the front row.
Yeah, he bogged down at the start there. Just couldn't quite get it in gear or whatever, or the clutch too heavy on the loud pedal, and had dropped like the 2025 stock exchange. But he's still in this one at the moment. Luke Maxwell in the lead.
Side by side, a little bit further behind. I think Jamie Bird was trying to get past Menno de Graaf as well. And now Mellis is going to capitalise. Mellis down the inside of Jamie Bird. That's the right-hander at Oggies before you get into Williams. And then the long back straight. Bootson's off. Bootson's off through Williams. Oh, he's spun to the inside. He might have been, joining him there. Oh, straight up the rear end. Kostritz hits him. They both lost their front end as they spin around. The bodywork's dancing on the racetrack, and they both hit that curve. Obviously, it wasn't even the curb, just a heavy right foot. And Boosson ends up in the wall. Kostritz comes and joins him a few seconds later.
Bang. Yeah, he felt bad for him. He said, Mike, look, I can't leave you out there in the kitty litter alone, mate. So, two's a party. And damage on that car, so they're going to have to do a bit of work to come back on this one there, if they can come back on this one. Luke Maxwell under a little bit of pressure right now from the man with the one of the highest I rating I've seen in this series, or this cars as well too there.
Yeah, he's certainly got the highest in this field by a good 2,000 or so. Mike Boosson, who's nearly at 5k these days. Through the hairpin goes Luke Maxwell, and still holds on to the lead ahead of McCutcheon. I think he's in a good place here to maybe pull away from McCutcheon. Let's see. Kostritz, the only one who has to come down pit lane this time round. Don't forget, the second race is a top 10 reverse, and so Mike Boosson has got some work to do before he even gets into those positions. This is the Kostritz spin itself. We saw him joining Boosson, but how did he end up there? It's almost like watching a replay of Bousson spin, isn't it? But instead, this time for Scott Kostritz.
Yeah, look at the frustration on his helmet there as well, too, as his face there as he goes, how could I repeat the same thing in the same corner? Just cold tyres, a little bit too greedy on the loud pedal, and away she goes there. Paul Crab! Oh! Another victim. So there's a banana peel out there somewhere, Ewan.
Yeah, there must be. Someone's thrown out down over their afternoon snack, and I'm afraid it's catching out a few drivers here this evening. Paul Crab drops down to 11th then after that spin. The good thing for him is that he first didn't touch the wall and therefore didn't have to reverse out. And second of all, doesn't have damage as a result of not hitting the wall as well. So that's a good thing for him. Michael LeMay, meanwhile, gets past Stefan Mellis through in towards the final sector of this track. That's 9th now for LeMay. And there is Soldos. There's Crab. Oh! Pullman off the road. Paul Crab immediately tries to regain some places. Or was he trying to hold on from some of the atoms who were trying to come past him? I'm not sure. But Pullman's the one who ends up off the circuit. Oh no, he goes off on his own, excuse me.
That's that looks like some sort of technical issue, isn't it? The car just, you're going into a corner, it didn't lock up or anything like that, and there he is into the fence. Just remaining into the fence at the moment, he gets towed back to pit road. John still applying the pressure. Luke Maxwell in the lead here for the Team Radline duo, team mates, but further back in the field there, you got Paul LeMay just a little bit behind Mikey Pollard. And Paul Crab, after dropping 7 places, trying to fight his way past Peter Zoldos.
He's not actually towed yet, Pullman. He's having real technical problems, so much so he can't even escape the session. Crab, meanwhile, gets past Zoldos, and that should be easy on the way down the brakes. This is one of the biggest braking zones on the circuit, down into Agostini, which is the sharp left-hander. On this sort of infield section, if you like, that we join right the way from turn 2 at Montreal and leave at Williams, the right-hander that's been catching everybody out. The distance between those two turns is actually very minuscule, and in the Snetterton 200 circuit, you can certainly see the connection there, if you like. In towards the tricky chicane at the end of the straight, into Brundle and Nelson. Maxwell still leads ahead of McCutcheon. They are the class of the field. These two are quicker than the rest, but McCutcheon's finding some speed he couldn't find in practice or qualifying. Maxwell at least ahead of him in both of those sessions. In the case of qualifying, he was ahead of the entire field. Through the final corner, he still leads here with 5 minutes gone and still 6 laps to go, but he's got McCutcheon right up behind him, applying the pressure.
Up to 1 place at the moment, currently running in P2 there. Mikey Pollard up 3 places, currently running in P3, loving that number. Jamie Bird on De Graaf. Possibilities brewing up in the background here as well too, the battle for P7th. If we know that your car goes a little bit faster with the JPB logo on the front, or does it? Declan's around somewhere. Oh dear, there he is.
Leader. The AM leader goes off, and Menno de Graaf goes past. 6th place for Menno de Graaf, ahead of Jamie Bird and now Declan Marsden as well. This is what happened towards turn 2. He's got nobody around him. Going to be frustrated with a solo error here. And the slowest corner, just trying to trail brake there, but turning and braking at the same time. It's not turned out well. He loses 3 places and he's down to 8th.
Yeah, and clever enough, he got on the gas and just got out of the way because he realised he was right in the hot zone there of the racing line. Didn't want to spoil anybody else's party, and yep, just hit that down. The car jumped over the chicane and off the track. So hats off to Declan for that one.
Down the straight for LeMay and Pollard in the meantime. These two very close in the championship, as the battle for second is really. It's absolutely hyper close in the championship as things stand. For the second position, McCutcheon still holding the lead by some distance, but Maxwell is going to take a small chunk out here if he can take home this win. As the next two in line, 3rd place, LeMay and Pollard, battle with one another through the final couple of corners. That's a good line there from LeMay. Got a decent exit, but turn 1's never a great overtaking chance, to be honest. We've seen that with Jamie Bird when we were following him a few moments ago. You can see that in the background. You can see in the foreground as well. LeMay not getting close. He needs to get a bit closer through turn 1. Is that late apex good enough there? He has a peak down the inside, but no. Pollard again holds on to 3rd. And now we're sort of getting towards the halfway stage in the race. We're starting to see the difficulty in overtaking for some. For Bird, it is easy. Certainly easier. He goes down the inside of Menno de Graaf and gets 6th place.
Impressive, actually, yeah. That's how you get an overtake done around here. Textbook overtake 101. And let's see whether or not a different place. Still sticking his nose out there, Paul LeMay. He's trying to just throw off Mikey into forcing him into a mistake as Luke and Luke Maxwell, John, are just exchanging fastest laps between those two at the moment. Luke's on the fastest lap right now. John had it last one. It's set on the inside at the moment.
Mistake, surely. Mistake from Pollard. You don't see moves like that through Oggies very often. And Pollard has rather given up his 3rd place there. He's not going to be out of it though. On the way down the straight, he's going to be right back in the game now. Outside line in towards the final couple of corners for Pollard on LeMay, and he backs out of it. But he'd gone around the outside through there. He could have had the inside for the next spot, like it we're seeing here. Maxwell and McCutcheon. Oh, that was close, but McCutcheon takes a bad line there through the right-hander at Bomhole, and I'm afraid Maxwell is going to get a big gap now. All of that work McCutcheon's got to sort of redo here at the end of lap 5.
Yeah, how much time it's going to take as well too, because we're 8 minutes down into this race, the 15-minute sprint, and that's going to be a bit of work. Taking a bit of time there. Luke's got a little bit of breathing space finally for the first time in this race, but I don't think this battle between Paul LeMay and Mikey is over just yet there, Ewan.
Through the first couple of corners, and Pollard will try and respond. Not able to in towards turn 2 this time around. As you say, we are now nearly 9 minutes actually into this race. 6 minutes to go. We should have 9 laps in this first race. Maybe 13 in the second, but effectively that means we're almost 2/3 of the way through this first race here tonight. And it's been sprinkled with action so far, race 1. There's going to be a real battle for 9th and 10th going on between LeMay Mellis and Paul Crabb in the final minutes. That will determine the front row for the final, second and final race of the day. There is Mellis in the middle of the group. Crabb has got to get past one of these two before the end of this race, and that will sort of atone for his earlier spin out of Williams through here. All those laps to go on lap 2.
Yeah, the battle for P5 is also brewing up on your screens at the moment. Josh Reed, Jamie Bird, and De Graaf. Sounds like a law firm, doesn't it? Bird, Reed, De Graaf. I see them for if you accidentally run up the rear end of a car. They'll take care of that insurance for you. That's the situation. Look, that's starting to get clear skies at the moment too, which is a rarity in this neck of the woods. But no rain. Where's the rain? Come on, we got rain in the iRacing model, and most leagues elect not to use it. Oh.
Well, it's worth remembering that not all cars have wet tyres yet, which would make things tricky. So that is worth bearing in mind. Meanwhile, side by side between Reed and Bird here, by the way, and there would have been a very close photo finish if this was the last lap, but luckily for us, they're still free to go. And down the inside, Reed's going to hold on, but that's quite deep. Oh, Bird just got his line wrong there. He needed to get a nice cutback line, but he just went a bit early. Nearly went off on the grass on the inside as he tried to make the move. Oh, it's a big slide. Reed gave him room actually there, expecting him to fire down the inside there, but Bird actually got the braking wrong himself and even did a good job to prevent the car from spinning around.
Oh, goes off at the key a little bit. He'll scrub a tiny bit of speed there to Graf, but he's attacking the Scotsman tooth and nail here. Just can't quite get it done. That's actually bringing Declan back into place, into the gear as well too, because Declan, as you know, went off the track a little bit earlier. He's thinking, okay, this is a good fight here. For P5 on the pitches there is there's still that half a second gap between the top two there. Paul LeMay and Mikey are still half a second gap between them, but Paul LeMay has responded by setting the fastest lap in the last lap.
Yeah, Marsden closing in is a big thing for De Graaf. What does he do in this situation? Oh, Michael LeMay's off. He was going to be on the front row for the second race as it was standing, but Mellis and Crab both go through. It looked like an unforced error. It might have been kind of forced actually. Mellis was applying the pressure, but LeMay drove off himself, and Mellis and Crab go through.
And they are still fighting for that position as well too, for that 10th position essentially, but Paul Crab wants to try to get that P9, steal it away from Mellis.
And the brakes through the final corner and to the start of another lap. Paul Crab in the slipstream of Stefan Mellis over the line again, and Crab get an extra couple of points for finishing in 9th place before starting on the front row for race 2, where surely he will be favourite. That's a good run through turn 1, and he might fire down the inside here. Mellis interestingly defending. He wants to keep that bit of a buffer between him and Michael LeMay, but he's not going to get what. He went wide a bit there, and Crab nearly went into the side of him in overtaking him, but he'll be okay. Round the outside through turn 3, and Paul Crab will... Oh, it's like contact. And again! Oh, these two are really rubbing shoulders now on the way in towards turn 4. But late braking. Again, they nearly touch. Mellis again goes deep, much like he did at turn 2. Crab goes for the over and under this time. LeMay's not going to capitalise. He's spun around in the background just when he didn't need it. He could have slipped through on Stefan Mellis as well, but he's not able to capitalise. And eventually, Paul Crab makes his move.
Yeah, Paul LeMay, you saw that in the background of these two going for a door banging, literally getting into each other a couple of times there. Now, you think one time, okay, it's a little bit of my bad, but 2 or 3 times, you know, there might be a bit of beef brewing out there.
Yeah, I think happily they will now drift apart a little bit as we start the penultimate lap of the race out front. The gaps are all below a second. Excuse me, now we're getting... Oh, it's going to be quite close, isn't it? Maybe we're starting the last lap. Let's have a look here as we cross the line. We've been doing 1:39s out front. Yeah, it will be the last lap. So the white flag will be waving there, and it's another fastest lap for Paul LeMay. Is this too little, too late, or can he get John McCutcheon on the last lap?
Oh, I don't know. Paul May could. There's a possibility. If he gets in that nice little slipstream, it is. But where would you send it on the track? It would be a late send, and it'd be a gamble as well, too, to throw away a podium in the first heat by sending one up the inside. Probably a little bit too far back, I'd have to say, at this point.
Josh Reed has dropped to 8th. That was from nearly the top 5 for him. So it's Bird, De Graaf, then Marsden in the battle for 5th place. But Reed will finish 8th because he's had a couple of moments in the last couple. Boosen gets past Oldos as well. That's only for 13th, and he will have a pretty miserable end to the race. Unfortunately, a difficult second race to come for Mike Boosen as well, starting all the way down the field. There's the movers and shakers. Quite a lively race, to be honest. Lots of moving about.
Yeah, I don't know where the drivers were. Ooh, Josh Reed got off the track somewhere as well, too. Just having a look there. He might have actually. There's going to be a very close finish at the back there, in the middle field there for 5th, 6th, but we'll have to go over to our race leader because only essentially another sector to go at this point now. Started on pole, going to finish in P1, so ticking all the right boxes at the moment for Maxwell in Heat 1.
Here he is, through the final corner. Luke Maxwell is absolutely flying here at Snetterton, and he's going to win the first race. Just when he needed it, Luke Maxwell is going to win here at Snetterton, dominating from lights to flag, all 9 laps led, and he wins ahead of John McCutcheon and Paul LeMay. Mikey Pollard is going to finish 4th ahead of Jamie Bird, who might be 5th. Let's see. He goes wide through the final corner. Marston was really close to De Graaf just before as well, but just in front, the win goes to Melo De Graaf, just in front of Declan Marsden.
And just beached it completely. Well, just put it into the fence and then knowing that it's all over there, getting all ready for the next one. Josh Reed, Paul Crabb, Stefan Mellis, Michael LeMay, David, Mike Boosen down 9 positions. Look at that. He still manages to bring it home with that wounded 666 machine. Peter Zolis as well, to getting in the wars. Pullman getting into the wars early. And Scotty as at the start on top of that one too. Yep, with that accident. The sympathy spin, I'd say, for Mike Boosen, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's probably what I'd call it. Go back to Alan McCutcheon, nearly finished. Still going. It's a good recovery, by the way, from Paul LeMay to get to 3rd. This is what happened at the start to him. Just seemed to go nowhere. A lot of wheel spin this thing. That's Pollard right through the middle, by the way, squeezing himself through a very narrow corridor. He managed to get past, though, and through into 4th place. LeMay, though, was 6th place. That's the under pressure hit down in towards turn 2, and this replay is going to get cut off in a moment. But, I mean, 3 positions gained from here, effectively. He was given one by Paul Crabb spinning, and given another by Mike Boosen spinning as well. But he passed Pollard legitimately on the circuit, and he was putting some real pressure on McCutcheon at the end there as well.
Yes, it was. So we actually got a great chance to do that. I think one of the drivers is just staying out on the track somewhere just to give us that. There it is. We got it just in time. Thank you very much. Maybe some of the drivers, somebody just pull off the side there just before they cross the line towards the end there, so it'll give us the chance to go over that one. But here's your Heat 1 results there. Ewan?
Yeah, the last person in the race should be forced to stop for a minute before they cross the line. We'll make a new rule. Luke Maxwell has won here at Snetterton ahead of John McCutcheon in race 1, and Paul LeMay and Mikey Pollard were not too far away either. Jamie Bird held off from the AM winners. That's Melo De Graaf, followed by Declan Marsden. Josh Reed and Paul Crabb will be next ahead of Stefan Mellis, 3rd in the AM class and on pole in race 2. Michael LeMay was next ahead of David Brosden. Had quite a quiet race, but did ghost his way up 4 places. Not, though, ahead of Mike Boosen, who couldn't get his way back past Ralston, who did at least get a couple of positions after his spin on the opening lap. That was ahead of Peter Zoldos and Gert-Jan Polman. Scott Kostrich had the only pit stop of the race, and so finished down at the back end of the field, a minute and a half off the win of Luke Maxwell. As we've been saying, we're about to reverse the top 10 and go racing again. 25 minutes from Snetterton, coming up again in race number 2 in a few moments' time after this from Trophi.Ai.
For the upcoming right-hander, brake 30 meters later and ease off the pressure.
Welcome back to Snetterton, where we have got a few minutes left on warm-up before the second race of the day. Let's have a look at the rest of the schedule this season, because it's a packed schedule from here to the start of May. The last of our really twisty circuit run from VIR to Road Atlanta is coming up next week, and then we've got the Daytona Roval. Billed initially as a 60-minute endurance race at the start of the season, actually abandoned that for the Monza Historic round, which actually ended up being an inspired decision. We had a fantastic 3 races there. We might well have 3 races again at Daytona in 2 weeks' time as well. We'll keep you posted on that. If it's 3 races again, then we're going to have a very open championship going into the final day. But as we've seen at the start of this broadcast, John McCutcheon at the start of the day is a long way out in front right now and looks set to take the title this season. Once again, we'll see whether he actually is able to take it all the way home. But for the moment, he is the leader. And in that first race, he did a decent job as well. There is Well, there's from second place, but there's the gap though, 38 points. Maxwell will gain a few back, and it is 1 and 2 in the championship between those two. James Bird will have lost a bit of ground there, by the way. He's only 3 points off second, but he will have lost a bit of ground, might even be behind LeMay after that race result. But McCutcheon's still very much in control, although there are still, if we do 3 races at Daytona, there's still 6 races to go, don't forget.
That's true, isn't it? Absolutely. So it ain't over yet until Barney waves that final checkered flag in this fantastic SR8 Championship League there, presented by the Trophi.Ai, and that's the situation. We're in a 5-minute warm-up, which is down to about a minute and change before we get to go for our fantastic Heat 2 feature race. Who's your money on?
I'm going to be Paul Crabb for race 2 because he recovered relatively well from that. Oh dear, is that Marsden going for a spin maybe in the background? It looks a bit like his car. Yeah, Paul Crabb, because he did manage to rescue a front row start despite having that spin out of or onto the back straight, I should say, through Williams. And yeah, if you're a pro driver and you're able to recover to the back end of the top 10 in race 1, then you've got a very good chance normally at race 2. I mean, look at what happened to Mike Bousson last week. Didn't have a great first race, ended up winning the second one. I think that's exactly what's going to happen to Paul Crabb here in this 8th round of the championship.
Yeah, just wondering if all the drivers are probably having a chat about if there was a technical issue with one of those drivers before too, when they just completely just went kind of like that, but off into the kitty litter there. That was not under braking or anything like that, so we'll see how it's all going to pan out. And your AM driver to pick?
That's even harder. AM's very difficult, but I'm going to go with Declan Marsden, because I think he probably should have won that first race, and he will feel he should have won that first race anyway. He had that spin, don't forget, through turn 2. He was actually quite a long way ahead of Menodograph by a second or two when he made that spin. Oh, and he's about to have another one there in the warm-up session. Not that that really matters.
Yeah.
He will start just in behind Mellis on the second row, but we'll see whether he can get up to the front in this second race. And let's indeed see that grid now with Mellis on the front of it. Paul Crabb on the front row with him. He will have a great chance if he gets off to a good start. Josh Reed's only just behind him though as well. Declan Marsden was starting from 4th place in the AM class ahead of Menodograph. They're the only 3 AMs who have got into the reverse grid. Then it is Jamie Bird in 6th place. Mikey Pollard and Paul LeMay will be on row 4 ahead of John McCutcheon and Luke Maxwell, the top 2 in the championship after that race. Outside of the top 10, it is the same from what we saw in the previous race. Mike Bousson with so much work to do from back there. Unfortunately, after winning last week, he's not going to be doing that again here without some kind of miracle in race number 2, unfortunately for him. The drivers are ready, and we're ready for another race here at Snetterton, the Trophi.Ai Radical SR8 Championship. Getting into life in the east of England again as the lights come on. Mellis on the front and Crabb alongside as they get underway. Crabb immediately comes across to cut off Josh Reed, who's going to have nowhere to go here really. Oh, and off in the background, Soldos immediately has gone off into the wall. It's all happening in towards turn 1 here. Big stack up, and they all go a little bit wide as they go through the first corner this time round. In towards turn 2, this is where the big stop is. Where's the incident going to come from? Oh, McCutcheon there, getting right into the back of somebody as they go on the brakes there. Maxwell right up in front of him. McCutcheon going nowhere. He was into the back in Menodograph there in towards turn 2. And he's only made, he's not gone anywhere. He's not made any positions. Maxwell, though, has made up 3. He's already in 7th place.
Absolutely fantastic racing at the moment there. Peter didn't even get off the race. Didn't even get across the racing line, actually, before spinning straight into the kitty litter and damaging that car. So that's that situation of that. We'll go back and have a little replay of that one. But here's John putting pressure on immediately on Mikey Pollard.
He's just been overtaken by Pollard when they're side to side. Meanwhile, Bird has gone off. Mellis might have been involved because he's dropping back, and Marsden immediately moves up to 3rd place and moves up to the lead in the AM class. Now out onto the back straight. Is everybody going to get through cleanly this time? Yes, we do get everybody out onto the front straight, or the back straight rather, which is a good thing. In towards the chicane itself, there's a couple of looks here. Cutson involved. He has a look at De Graaf, can't get past. So a couple of places gained in the last couple of moments from McCutcheon, but still 8th place after the first lap, 3 places behind Maxwell. Can he make that 7th? As De Graaf goes a little bit wide through Bombhole now and through the long right-hander at Curran. This is going to be very difficult for McCutcheon. He's just going to keep his nose alongside here. Compromised De Graaf and then get the run onto the front straight, which he's certainly done. Oh, he's pushing him down the front straight as they complete the first lap.
Okay, move on to Graf. He's for the Velcro Racing Team. It's Team Radline coming through. Paul Crabb, as you mentioned there. If he gets up the road there, he could have a good shot at winning this race. At the inside goes John, sees the opportunity. He's not the only one. Mikey Pollard, Mike Booston say, let's try a little chance here at De Grasse, and they may be doing this one, Ewan.
Down the inside, they are thinking that this is the moment, and Booston might well try and follow Pollard through. Pollard gets through quite nicely in towards turn 2, but Booston can't follow. Can he get the exit maybe? Is that too fast entering there for the Graf? Oh, it's probably okay. In towards the hairpin at Oggies? No, there won't be a chance this time round. There's a look, but no chance. Through the hairpin. That behind is Rolliston ahead of Jamie Bird, who's dropped down from 6th place. Didn't see what happened to him down in towards this corner it was last lap, but he dropped all the way down to 13th. Here we go.
Oh, he snapped it under braking.
Oh, wow.
He was almost going to completely take out the other driver, but quick, sharp reactions there for Jamie Bird. Going to cost him a lot of places, but thankfully he did the right thing, snapped it on the brake there and didn't collide into anybody. So there it is, Declan Marson on the back of Paul LeMay right now too, and Luke Maxwell is hunting him down in P5.
Yeah, for some reason it wasn't anything to do with Mellis, who also went off during that moment, by the way. 6th place, he went off through the very same corner. I wonder whether he went wide as well or went deep, because Bird got the braking wrong and Mellis did as well. He was under a lot of pressure. Yeah, he did. He just went straight off. Crab didn't touch him there, I don't think. Oh, and sideswipe there from Marsden was that in 3rd. Might have been. He's now 4th, so connecting the dots, I guess it must be Marsden. Just made side-to-side contact as they complete the end of another lap. Side-by-side between Royston and Bird, who's going round the outside at turn 1, which is quite brave. Oh, he's going to do it as well. That is a very good move for Jamie Bird, who's not having an evening overall, but that's a good pass. Booston and De Graaf, meanwhile, into turn 2. Booston gets it done. Might be a lap behind schedule. Booston may feel he could have done that this time last lap, but anyway, he's done it now, and he's up into 9th place.
Ooh, he might be coming back on the inside there, but no overtaking. I'm going to be enough space there. That's going to be like, don't go doing a Max Verstappen on the first lap and then get a penalty for it. Oh, that's too soon. We'll go back to the front here. Josh Reed, Paul LeMay now putting some pressure on. Paul Crabb up the road, 1.6 seconds. Just at the fastest lap on the last lap too there. Ewan.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know brag, but my prediction is so far it's going all right. Here comes Paul LeMay. He's been one of the quickest drivers here tonight, by the way. It's that first race start that's really put him down here today. Down the inside he'll go. It was 3rd place in race 1. He's now 2nd place in race 2. That was a pretty easy pass on Josh Reed.
And speaking of one LeMay, the other one LeMay, battling it out there with Jamie Bird back in P12 and 11th.
Bird got very loose there. Might have even touched the sausage cut as John McCutcheon gets past Mellis, who's side by side with Pollard. Might have to go around the outside here. Pollard, careful, they just about get through. And Booston's going to make this 3 wide. He's going to duck to the left of one, to the right of the other. Oh, is he going to get them both here on the front straight? He might well do. Up to 7th place. He's absolutely side to side with Mellis, almost touching. Just as Mellis was doing with Crabb in the first race. Booston goes through on the inside. Now can Pollard follow in towards turn 2? That's a very narrow gap. Mellis gives him the room, and Pollard does get back to 8th place. He's gone down 1 place, then back up 1 again. He's still 8th. Mike Booston rather is up to 7th place after a great double pass on the front straight.
That's how you could have done it, isn't it? Mikey. 6 places up at the moment for the 666 machine. Loving that number. Loving the overtakes. If he had 6 overtakes, it'd be even better. Well, he's up 6 places anyway, but he's got 2 for 1 special right there. Keep an eye on that number 73 machine later on in this race.
This is Maxwell on the back of Josh Reed. Not sure quite what's happened to Josh Reed's speed tonight. He's normally a bit quicker than this. I suspect it might be something to do with the circuit. Every driver's got one. And McCutcheon himself also doesn't look quite as quick as he normally does either. Maybe he's not quite comfortable around this circuit as they now get down the straight in towards the final corner. Maxwell going nowhere in the slipstream. Let's not forget that Maxwell didn't actually have to pass anyone in race 1. This is one of the first times we're really seeing him have to do a properly thought out overtake.
Yep, that's to navigate the traffic this time around. He doesn't have the clear air that Paul Crabb has currently at the moment. So, But Paul Krabs has dropped that one. He must have made a little bit of a mistake now because Paul LeMay's just wheeled him in there. He's just dropped about 7/10ths as a mistake, perhaps like that one that you just saw Josh Reed made, and that very much could be job done. Luke Maxwell's going to have the speed down the main straight.
Is he going to be clear? Just about. There you go. Maxwell through on the outside line. Doesn't have to go side by side in the end, and this could get quite grisly for Josh Reed in the next few moments because John McCutcheon's queuing up behind. So's Declan Marsden. Mike Booston will catch up if there's a battle, and Maxwell goes very wide there. Maybe it's going to be Maxwell who's feeling the pressure here because that was too deep on the brakes down in towards the second corner. Very much too deep. Reed then next in line. Then McCutcheon, who himself goes wide through the very next corner. And it's all one line. This has got the look of a very interesting next quarter of an hour as race 2 here at Snetterton will draw to a close. This is going to be one big group, and it's going to be a battle for the lead as well between Crab and LeMay further out front. Two Pauls are going to battle away as well, so plenty to look at and watch in these next 15 minutes.
The Paul and Paul show at the road. The Josh and John show further back. That's a Scott show as well, too, the Scotsman. Peter Ellis has just gone off track somewhere, but he's currently running in P16. We'll go back and have a look at what happened at the start of his race in a second as well. But yeah, I don't see anything on race control messages to say that Paul Crab did go off the track anywhere, anything to trigger the time, but something did happen where he lost 1.6 seconds. And at this point at the moment, he may lose a position to Paul LeMay.
That was a look down the inside there from Paul LeMay, but no chance this time round. Just had a peek, but couldn't do it. If this really descends into a battle, we could have a large group from 1st to 8th place, and at the moment there's not a single gap above 1 second in that part of the field. Look at that down the front straight. It is absolutely single file all the way down as they tear in towards turn 1 again here. Round the first corner and down on the brakes again for turn 2. Can LeMay make this move? If he to do it, then it would be a first and a third on the evening, and that would be equal to Maxwell's finishing positions. Although Maxwell might well try and follow through on Crab, to be honest, who is defending quite well from the front. That's McCutcheon having a look at Josh Reed through turn 3.
David's had a moment, David Rollinson as well too, but this, yeah, John's got to get past the fellow Scott of Josh, then he's got to get past Luke, then he's got to get past the Paul duo. He's planning on that one as well too. He's got time up his sleeve to get it done, but at the same time, you can see this whole pack that's bunching in. As you said, everybody's surrounded by a second now, separated by a second in that top 8. Wow, this is definitely going to turn into a big barn burner for sure, mate.
This is going to happen in towards the chicane as well. McCutcheon's close, so's LeMay. We're going to be looking in all sorts of different places here in the next 15 minutes as LeMay looks, but he's not quite close enough. Really close though. And that was a good braking performance actually from Crab on the way in towards that chicane. Just got it stopped in time, but still broke very late. McCutcheon now really close to Reed as they go through the final couple of corners. It's starting to cost them some time, and Reed's looking over his shoulder a little bit too much now. He's starting to lose a lot of time to Reed, but he's got the final corner right. Maxwell hasn't though. That's huge for the championship. He was closest to McCutcheon after race 1 tonight. Now he's going to maybe drop outside the top 10. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead goes on. LeMay's around the outside and he's going to get the lead. Big drama as Crab tries to hold his position alongside. He can't do it. And Paul LeMay goes through in towards the lead of this race. Bootson as well into the top 5. Drama in these last couple of moments. Luke Maxwell's down to 8th position.
Yeah, it's huge, as you said, for the championship points as well too, especially when he's his closest contender, the championship leader at the moment. John is still on the tailpipe of Josh Reed. He's in P4, but he's gaining a couple of position. Paul May in the lead, up 7 places right now. But you've got to give it to Mike Booston as well too. He's chipping his way through this field, but has he got the pace to beat his teammate of John up the road?
Down on the brakes again. McCutcheon close, very close, but not able to get past on this occasion. In towards Williams again they go. Through the right-hander. He was about this close last time, maybe a half a tenth further back, but this time he's going to have a much better chance. He's shown the inside for the first spot and outside for the second. Reed has got to run it round for the first bit and fire down the inside at the second, but he's going to back out of it. He doesn't want to fight with the championship leader too hard, and John McCutcheon is, well, not to say given third place because he's worked pretty hard for it, but he is now on the podium.
And he's unleashed, of course, to try to hunt down Paul Crabb. And both the Pauls as well, to Paul LeMay. Doesn't want to let Paul LeMay get too far up the road, which he is currently about 2 seconds. And Mike is off. Oh, no. Boosen. He was such a great race, and he's got off into the kiddie lad. Let's have a look.
He was with the leaders of, it's just slightly wide into the gravel and then off into the grass itself. Yeah, he's just, side by side meanwhile between Bird and De Graaf. That's happened before. Bird's through on the inside line into the top 10 again this time round. But yeah, Boosen was right with the leaders there. Even though he started 13th, he'd made great progress, and was it 12th? Anyway, around there. And he got himself right up, he was 13th, right up with the leaders, right where like Sir Pollard and McCutcheon are. Unfortunately now, he is a lot further behind and with a lot more work to do. There's Kosteric into the chicane. You could tell that car was pretty loose from the way in, actually, and that one goes all the way around, this time into a spin.
He'll be struggling, isn't he, as he's had another spin after that one as well, too, but it's all by himself at the back there. In fact, I think he's jumped into pit road. May have retired. Something's just completely not right with the car for poor Scotty in this race, because you saw him go off in the first heat race, just couldn't quite get it connected up around the corner there into the fence. Battle still resuming here for essentially P3 in the AM class as well too, with Bird just in throwing the spanner in the mix on that one.
McCutcheon putting a lot of pressure on Grab as well. And Grab gets pretty loose there, but just after bomb hole in towards Coram there. And McCutcheon gets his line a bit wrong now for the penultimate corner. Most challenging corner on this circuit, I would argue, as they now go through the final turn itself and onto the front straight. It's pretty even, but McCutcheon with a slightly better run onto the front straight, and he might well have a chance to fire down the inside, maybe, in towards turn number 1. Yeah, he will. He's going to have to be brave, though. Oh, wow, that was close. Crab was banking on the fact that McCutcheon didn't send that in, and in the end he was right. Now in towards turn 2, though, McCutcheon's going to have a better chance, and he has got the move done. Again, it could be a day where McCutcheon hasn't been firing on all cylinders, but he's been getting absolutely the maximum out of himself. Second place as he finished in race 1. This could be a fantastic day, another fantastic day for the championship leader.
Yeah, and points more importantly over Luke Maxwell after having that little bit of a mistake, is back there currently at the moment in P7 with Boosen on his tailpipe, and we know Boosen's been pretty quick before that mistake as well too. But Mikey Pollard on the back there of the Declan Marson, Josh Reed and Paul Crabb train that's up the road there. But Declan Marson just needs his cars behind him, Luke Maxwell, Mike Boosen, before Mellis is his closest competitor in that class.
It's a pretty nice lead for Declan Marsden.
Oh, Crabb.
Can't see him losing it from there. Look at Crabb, yeah, in towards the chicane. Also McCutcheon to defend, which you don't see very often, but now Crabb's got it wrong, and that's going to let the league, league leader, yeah, he is the championship leader, John McCutcheon, off the hook. Poor Crabb, just a moment there, he was putting him under pressure, but one mistake and John's gone, and that's exactly what's happened to Paul Crabb. In fact, he's now under pressure from Reed, Marsden and Pollard all behind him.
Yeah, the group of cars you can see there. So, but your pick for the race win, of course, Paul Crabb. He's still got a chance there for the C64 machine there, the Irishman. Because anything can go wrong. Paul LeMay's probably got a call on the radio saying, John is in P2, and he's like, no problem, I'll just put in the fastest lap of the race there, and sets it by about half a second quicker than John on that last lap.
That was a bit wide from Reed there, who turn 2. Marsden right in behind him, then it's Pollard. And they will all queue up on the way down the brakes at turn 4. That was the change of position down here. Yeah, Mellis and Bird again. Was it again? I don't know. Might be for the first time, but Bird's through into ninth now. He's had a look there, Mellis, to try and respond, but he's not going to go down the inside this time. That's Jamie Bird back into ninth place, but he's still down 3 on where he started.
Yeah, nice battles everywhere. Declan Marson making a move here on Josh Reed. Remember, he's completely a different class, but he's racing like he's in the pro class as well, too.
Oh, it's very close. And Marsden's going to pay for it with his 5th position. So Mikey Pollard goes straight through. And don't forget, points are scored in this series on an overall basis. So if he wants to extend that advantage over the other AMs in this championship and take the championship lead, which he's got the opportunity to do here, he does actually need to pass these pros. So, as you say, they're not in the same class, and it does look strange, but there is a point to this from Declan Marsden.
Yeah, you said that you beat last week as well too. Absolutely, they can fight like they're all in the same class because they're all overall points as well too. As further back there, Boosen and Maxwell, who's got a recovery drive to do. He needs to catch John. John's in P2.
Yeah, this is not good for Maxwell. It's that slide and that half spin out of the final corner, isn't it, that's really cost him here today. First race, he didn't put a foot wrong. He led every lap, but he's put 1 foot wrong, slightly too heavy on the power at the final corner once, and he's been punished for it. That just shows how difficult it is to be in a championship battle with John McCutcheon.
That's why he's leading the championship as well too. John's just got his head strong most of the time, barely makes mistakes. Consistency is key. Mike Pollard there fighting with Josh Reed. He's got to fight with Josh Reed because Declan Marsden's just behind him. Luke Maxwell is a little bit down the road. Go ahead.
Crab just went off. Oh my word, that's close. Reed trying to take that third place, and Paul Crab, making a completely unforced error, has lost him his podium. Oh, he's trying to do a cutback and he's got that all wrong as well, as they come onto the back straight through Williams, and now all of a sudden the podium could well turn to a fifth position maybe here for Paul Crab. That's Marsden weaving all over the place. He's not going to make a move from back there. Pollard can't make one either, but Crab will be kicking himself. He's now got 7 minutes to regain that podium.
He can, but just got to keep your head cool there. Just drive your own racing line. Don't worry about the cars around you. That's when you're going to force themselves into some mistakes. We've said that before. That it's difficult when you're in the middle, isn't it? Because you're going to be looking forwards and backwards. That's pressure mounting all over the place, and that's the pressure for the final photo position as Josh is just up distant in front of him there, but then John's up the road there. It's got a big gap forming there at the moment. John's Paul LeMay is just pulling away, isn't it? Lap by lap over John.
Yeah, he is doing a very good job, Paul LeMay. Just think what could have been if he'd started race 1 a bit better. He still finished that race on the podium despite having one of the worst starts I've seen him do for a long time. He's going to win race 2 as well by the looks of things, with still 6 minutes to go. We'll ask him about it all as we review the race. The post-race show, of course, we'll interview a few of the drivers. Paul LeMay will be one of them, you'd imagine, if he holds on to this race win. On board with Mikey Pollard. He is in the middle now of a very long queue. Maxwell and Boosen have now caught up, but is it too little too late here for Maxwell? How many of these positions can he take in the final minutes of this race? He needs all of them, ideally. But how many can he take as he regains his position in this group? 6 drivers all in the group, and Marsden doesn't want any part of it.
No.
Despite the fact he had points to gain here, he pulls over and he lets them through.
Yeah, he completely lifted and says, okay, just no. It's not my fight that's playing around there, and why not? Because it is difficult. You put your concentration levels through the roof. He perhaps doesn't want to throw that AM victory away. He just threw a couple of points away in the championship, but he'll still maintain that lead in class. As, yeah, you can see him fighting here at the road, isn't it? Paul Crab getting loose again. So somehow all of a sudden that Ewan starting to struggle now with the number 12 car.
Oh, very close this time round. In towards the first corner, and yeah, Reed goes very wide through turn 1, so they're all under pressure. In towards 2, Pollard looks, doesn't fire this time. Crab able to keep that position, that 4th position. Now in towards turn 3. He is the one really applying the pressure to Reed, who makes another error there. That's through turn 3, and he's under all sorts of pressure now as they get onto the brakes now for Agostini. No chance this time for Crab, but he's applying pressure again. Reed has got to soak up this if he wants this podium place. Only 4 minutes to go. Might only be 2 laps here at the line for Reed to hang on.
Gas it, son. Gas it. Oh, but in the inside goes Pollard.
Wow. Pollard making a bit of a surprise move. Not sure whether Crab was even expecting that, but Pollard flew into 4th place. And this could get ugly for Crab now. If he lets this get on top of him too much, Maxwell's not got a very good exit, and so he's not going to go anywhere. Boosen's got too many slipstream drivers in front of him, and so he can't really gain any speed. And they all stay the same in towards the chicane.
Yeah, you can go from the outhouse to penthouse to the outhouse very quickly right now if there's some very quick drivers behind him, as he is definitely struggling for a little bit of grip there. I think at that point it looked like Paul Crabbe was so focused on trying to get that overtake up there that he didn't realise that he was the prey from the predators behind him.
In the final corner, and Crabbe now is under serious pressure from leading this race. He could be 7th by the end of this one if he's not too careful. Maxwell and Bousson will certainly be hoping so as they go through turn 1 again. 22 minutes gone, we've just got a few to go and a couple of laps to go as well. Going to be quite close to whether it's 2 or 3. We'll keep you on top of that as Pollard puts the pressure on Reed. Crabbe does a good job in towards turn 2 and he holds on to 5th place. This is all nail-biting stuff here towards the end of this race.
Yep, final podium position really is what you see on those cars on your screen. That's all the way down to Declan, who's just sit back watching this one going, okay, take each other out please gentlemen, and I'll be happy to sit there and taste the bubbly stuff on the final step of the podium. You see some banker laps that John's been putting in there, but it's not going to be enough to chip away at LeMay. LeMay's just kind of counteracting every single punch that John's throwing at him at the moment, and he can walk away with the victory on top step of the podium on this feature race. But here we go. This is kind of where you got to get your eyes peeled at the moment. Can Josh Reed hold on to that final podium position, or can Mikey Pollard steal it away?
Towards the on a couple of corners, Pollard has got to start trying everything now as they get the white flag ready out front. Paul LeMay is going to take a famous victory here by the looks of things. Who is going to take the final spot on the podium though? Who's going to join LeMay and McCutcheon? Is it going to be Reed or Pollard, or is somebody else going to step through the void and take the position completely? Out of the final corner, and Pollard can't get anywhere this time round. Final lap, there's only a few more chances now for Pollard. Less than 2 tenths, he gains a lot in the slipstream here. And Reed is definitely watching his mirrors, maybe even too closely. He's wheeling around already on the straight. He's gone deep in towards turn 1. He's going to be punished as he in towards turn 2. Again, he reaches to defend. Pollard decides again not to try and make the move into the hairpin.
Got to get smooth operator outside. Paul Crabbe's gone around.
Oh no!
It's an accident.
And there's someone on their roof. Is that Maxwell? It
Yeah.
was. Maxwell was up and over. What went on here? Maxwell to the inside of Paul Crabbe, who
Gets in.
hits Pollard, and Maxwell gets sandwiched between Bousson and Crabbe. Bousson flips Maxwell back onto his wheels again.
Oh, somebody else has gone off.
Oh,
I think
and
as
Reed's
well.
off.
Reed.
Reed's off. Josh Reed from the podium place. Pollard will get his podium as Reed goes off. Crabbe's got no rear wing. He can barely drive his car, and so Reed will get 8th place back again.
Wow. Look at this. Come into each other. Bang.
Oh. Wow.
We'll go back and have a look at those
may well
replays
be-
in a little bit there for sure, during your interviews as well too. But this man, looking good.
Yeah, it's nice and clean out front for Paul LeMay. Some of that stuff further on back might be looked at by the stewards, but Paul LeMay is going to win here in race 2. What an evening for him. 3rd place in race 1, 1st in race 2, and a couple of 2nd places for McCutcheon as well, who takes that position. And Declan Marsden's going to be on the podium because Pollard's into the pit lane.
Yep.
Declan Marsden gained so many places on that last lap there. He overtook the likes of Bousson, Crabbe, and all sorts of others. Pollard as well. And Declan Marsden takes an overall podium. Mellis gains loads of places as well, to be fair, so his points gain will be a bit less, Marsden. But a podium for an AM driver. What an extraordinary result, as Pollard had to pit on the last lap.
Yeah, why did he have to pit? Did he have to serve a penalty or something like that? We've seen that before, haven't we?
Maybe incident limit.
Yeah, it could be incident limit.
But always, I mean, I can't understand why drivers don't know this more widely. If you get a penalty on the last lap, you can't clear it by driving in the pit lane on the way to the checkered flag. You've got to just carry on because it is applied post-race, whether you come into the pit lane or not.
That is very true. I'm just going to go back and have a quick look at this incident here. We'll have a look at a couple of replays, just waiting for the results to come in. I think this is... Who's the car that goes up on the lid? Bang. Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Ooh.
on over.
Little joyride.
Bosun very aggressively puts him back on his wheels again, and he's got quite a lot of damage with that Maxwell. A couple of incidents that have really cost him in this race here today.
This is what
up front
happened
though,
to Peter
Paul
at the
LeMay.
start.
Oh god.
Yeah. He just, see, wheel spin and bang, has him got cast
Wow.
the checker across the line, straight into the fence. For Peter, unfortunately. We have our results finally coming up.
Let's see the results that have Paul LeMay on the top, 2.5 seconds in the end ahead of John McCutcheon. Declan Marsden gaining all those places at the end to finish on the podium. Mike Pearson and Jamie Bird were inside the top 5 in the end ahead of Stefan Mellis, with Josh Reed dropping down the last lap after that spin, Paul Crabb losing his rear wing, and Luke Maxwell ending up on his roof. It was David Rosden down in 10th. Gert-Jan Polman finishes just outside with Menno de Graaf and Michael LeMay next. Mikey Pollard with that post-race penalty, even though he came into pit lane, doesn't matter. It still applies a post-race penalty. He finishes 14th, better Peter Zoldos, and Scott Kostrich, who only did a few laps of that race, retired after 7 laps, unfortunately for him. Let's have a chat to Paul LeMay, the race winner after the second race here tonight, and congratulations on that one, Paul. Let's talk about race 2 first, because you came through a few drivers in that one in the end, 7 places gained in the end, but a lot of them on the opening lap. Tell us a little bit about your start.
Hi guys, well, I actually managed to get off the line, which was which was amazing considering what happened in race 1. Yeah, really, it was just a bit hectic out there, and I just tried to pick up as many as I could, and just keep just trying to go for it. Really, I love the track, so that helped.
That does help, especially compared to some of the complainers we've had throughout the week of Snetterton, which is normal. It certainly provided the racing, though. I want to talk a little bit about the race 1 start, actually, as much as you probably don't want to. I can't say the last time I saw anyone who drives these cars as regularly as you and all the other regulars starting like that. What happened on that first start?
Yeah, I've done a couple of practice starts, and I guess sat on the grid with the 2 clutches. The neurons didn't connect, so I just let both out pretty much simultaneously. So yeah, it was a bit of a brain fade, really. So that cocked that ride up. But yeah, it's something I do quite often, as James will tell you.
Yeah. You still got to the podium, though, which is the most impressive thing about the
I got a bit
race.
lucky with Boosen and Crab going off, so I was a bit lucky there, but I managed to get past Mikey, so yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that.
Exactly, and it gives you a double podium for the day, so that's a big positive. I'm not sure where that's going to leave you in the championship, actually, but you're right in that big mix for second place, all just behind John out front. So we'll see where you are at the end of this week. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Declan, really. Yeah, he sort of kind of helped me get past in race 2, didn't get in my way or anything. So that was really good, and I'm really pleased he got on the podium. So yeah, shout out to Declan. Great drive.
Absolutely. Third place for Anam. Congratulations to yourself on the win and indeed the double podium tonight, I should say. And thanks for coming to chat to us after the race as well.
Okay, guys. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much. That's Paul LeMay, race winner in race 2 here tonight, ahead of John McCutcheon, who was second in both races here at Snetterton. Congratulations, John, on a double podium, a double second place. You must be pretty pleased to take home a double second place tonight.
Yeah, good haul of points for the championship. I'd rather finish P1, but hey ho.
Is this a circuit you tend to struggle at? Because I just sense that you might have been a tenth or two slower compared to some others than you normally are.
I just don't like it. It's flat. It's quite boring, and the weather was overcast and dull, so I was kind of a bit miserable. But
it's very English.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say to Nick, what are you talking about with your weather up north, mate?
It's been lovely up here today. No, it's just flat tracks like that. I'm not really. They don't get me going. Yeah. I like elevations.
I could sense your dislike, and just in the speed, to be honest, which is remarkable, really. But how are you feeling about the championship now? You came in with 38 points. Maxwell had a bit of a disaster in race 2, despite beating you in race 1. So you feel as if you've got this one sort of one hand on the trophy, if you like.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't really looked, to be honest with you. I just play it every year and see what happens. But the next 2 tracks I'm looking forward to. especially next week, Road Atlanta. Really like that track. Lots of elevations.
Yes. Everyone likes Road Atlanta, as we know. Congratulations on a double second here tonight, John. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Not really. Shout out to you guys for the commentary. Always good to watch them back.
Thanks very much. Hopefully you enjoy the broadcast here tonight. Congratulations again on 2 second places, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks very much. John McCut's in second place in race 1 and race 2 here tonight. Stefan Mellis finished in 6th place in race number 2, and he's come to have a chat with us as well here at the end of tonight's race. Oh, sorry, Stefan, I've interrupted your conversation. Congratulations on finishing in 2nd place here in race 2. Despite the fact on the opening lap of race 2, you went off the circuit and got a bit of a side swipe from somebody on the way past as well. You still managed to finish in 6th place, rather. How are you feeling after tonight's race?
I'm very happy with it. I'm very surprised also because I thought I was going to get off the track every lap in turn 9. That was absolutely not my friend at that turn.
No,
But
it's
it
a
all went
difficult.
well.
Yeah, it's a difficult circuit. How do you feel about Snetterton compared to some of the others? You're obviously not from the UK, so we know it very well. But how well do you know it, and how do you like it?
I didn't know it at all. I never drove on it.
You like it?
Except for the practice of I practiced a lot. I had to, and yeah, I like it. Now I like it. Now I'm second. I like it.
Exactly. It's the best way. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, the winner, of course, and you guys, everybody for the great championship. It's really an honor to drive with everybody. It's really cool.
Well, thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us, Stefan. Good to have you with us as always, and we'll hopefully see you next week at Road Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much. Stefan Mellis there. 6th place in race 2 overall, but as you said there, 2nd place in the AM class, perhaps more importantly, in a very close race for the championship there, even closer, in fact, than what we've got in the pros. It's just about going to do it for us here tonight from Snetterton. Another circuit, Biggles, where people have been doing it down beforehand, saying this isn't going to be very good. It's Snetterton, not a very good circuit. In the end, people seem to have enjoyed themselves, but more importantly, we've enjoyed ourselves with some great racing, as we so often seem to get in this championship.
Absolutely. John saying he's not even thinking about the championship. That's like what Max Verstappen used to say, wasn't it? Like going, I didn't even know. Am I leading the championship? Yeah. Well, I mean, he's just concentrating on getting the best results he can each week, and there it is, Heat 1 results. Luke Maxwell on top there with John and Paul LeMay, but Paul LeMay overall got the maximum amount of points he could this evening because he winning the race there finally in the feature race there over John, and what a great drive, as we heard from the drivers shouting out Declan Marston's great drive. He had to be at the right place at the right time. You saw the incident there with Luke Maxwell, Josh Reed and Paul Crabb as well too. So to seize the opportunity, and of course, as you mentioned there, Ewan, we're off to our next track, and we are heading over to the United States of America, across the pond to Road Atlanta.
Certainly are. The last of our really twisty circuits in this real run of difficult tracks to drive. VIR, Rudskogen, Snetterton and Road Atlanta all 4 weeks back to back. Road Atlanta is going to be one that is more widely enjoyed by the drivers, as John was saying. So make sure you join us again on the 28th of April for that one. It's been myself, Ewan O'Leary, and Tim Biggles alongside me for this round of the Trophi.Ai Radical SR8 Championship. We'll see you in 1 week's time at Road Atlanta, but from all of us here, for now, it's goodbye.